Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today we are diving into the fascinating world of rare coins and in particular one coin that has stunned collectors and made headlines. It is none other than the 1987 Roosevelt Dime Coin. At first glance this little 10-cent piece looks like something you might easily overlook in your pocket change. But what if I told you that one example of this coin has been valued at more than $1.18 million? Yes, you heard that correctly. A single dime worth more than $1 million. Before we get into why this coin is so valuable, let us take a quick step back into history. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who passed away the previous year. Roosevelt was admired not only as a wartime leader but also for his tireless fight against polio and his support for the March of Dimes campaign, which aimed to raise money to find a cure for the disease. Because of this connection, the dime was chosen as the coin to bear his likeness. Fast forward to the year 1987. Millions upon millions of Roosevelt dimes were minted at facilities across the United States, including Philadelphia, which is marked by the P Mint mark. Most of these coins were struck in copper nickel-clad composition with no silver content and were simply intended for everyday circulation. Nothing unusual about that. However, a small handful of dimes from that year turned out to be anything but ordinary. Now the big question is, why would a common dime from 1987 suddenly be worth over $1 million today? The answer lies in a combination of minting errors, rarity, and collector demand. Reports suggest that the most valuable example of the 1987 Roosevelt dime shows an extraordinary mint error unlike anything normally seen. Some experts believe that a small batch may have been struck on silver planchets left over from earlier minting runs. Others point to dramatic misstrikes, double dies, or off-center strikes. Regardless of the exact reason, what we know is that the surviving example or examples are extremely rare, almost one of a kind. Collectors go wild when rarity combines with historical interest. That is why in recent auctions one of these dimes has commanded staggering prices. The current estimated market value for the finest known 1987 Roosevelt dime has reached an incredible $1.18 million. Imagine holding a coin that looks like an ordinary dime to the untrained eye, but in reality it could change your life forever. It is also worth remembering that not every 1987 dime is valuable. In fact, the overwhelming majority of them are still only worth face value of 10 cents. But as with many treasures in the world of coin collecting, the key lies in the details. A slight error, a unique strike, a wrong planchet, or even a small variation in the die can make all the difference between pocket change and a life-changing fortune. So the next time you check your loose change, pay attention to the dimes. Look carefully at the date and the mint mark. If you happen to spot a 1987 dime that looks a little off, whether it has unusual coloring, strange alignment, or an odd strike, it might be worth having it evaluated by a professional grading service. Who knows, you might be holding onto $1 million coin without even realizing it. Coin collecting is a hobby filled with surprises, and stories like this one keep the excitement alive. From a coin minted in honor of a president who led the nation through the Great Depression and World War II to a modern-day discovery that shocks the market, the Roosevelt dime continues to be more than just small change. It is a reminder that history and value can be found in the most unexpected places. We are diving deep into the fascinating story of a tiny coin that has captured the imagination of collectors all over the world. We are talking about the 1996 Roosevelt dime. At first glance it looks like just another everyday coin in your pocket change. But the truth is, this particular dime has a history that makes it one of the most sought-after treasures in modern numismatics. Even more surprising is that the current market value of this special dime has been estimated at an incredible $1.17 million. Yes, you heard that right. A 10-cent coin valued at over $1 million. Let us start with the history. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 as a tribute to President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Roosevelt had passed away in 1945 and he was honored for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. He was also strongly associated with the March of Dimes campaign, which helped fight polio. That is why his image was chosen for the dime. Over the decades, billions of Roosevelt dimes have been minted, making them one of the most common coins in circulation. However, within this sea of coins there are certain issues and certain varieties that stand out as exceptionally rare and valuable. Now let us focus on the 1996 D Roosevelt dime. The D mint mark stands for the Denver Mint where this coin was produced. In 1996 the United States Mint struck a large number of dimes as usual. But what makes this particular coin extraordinary is not the year itself but the fact that a tiny number of these dimes ended up with unique characteristics that set them apart. Some examples show rare mint errors. Some are struck in extremely high-grade conditions that are virtually flawless under magnification. And some are believed to have been experimental or accidental issues that slipped through quality control. When you combine rarity with condition and demand you create a perfect storm for astronomical values in the coin market. Collectors love a good story and the 1996 D dime has exactly that. It is a coin that on the surface seems ordinary but becomes legendary once you understand its background. Auction houses have recorded intense bidding wars whenever a high-grade or rare variety of this coin comes up for sale. The highest known example reportedly reached an astonishing market value of $1.17 million. Imagine finding a dime in your change and realizing it could pay off your house or your car or your entire retirement. That is why collectors and treasure hunters are always checking their coins carefully. So what exactly makes the $1 million example so valuable? Condition is one of the key factors. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale with mint state 70 being absolute perfection. If a 1996 D Roosevelt dime survives in pristine condition with sharp details, blazing luster and no scratches, it can command unbelievable premiums. Add to that the fact that certain mint errors or varieties exist such as double dies misstrikes or wrong planchet strikes and the price multiplies even more. Numismatics is as much about rarity as it is about condition. When a coin checks both boxes it becomes priceless in the eyes of collectors. Now let us talk about the broader impact. Stories like the 1996 D dime inspire people to look more closely at the change in their pockets. It reminds us that history and value can hide in plain sight. Every coin tells a story of its time, its production, and the people who used it. The Roosevelt dime continues to circulate today, but among the billions only a handful hold the kind of magic that pushes their worth into the millions. For collectors it is the thrill of the hunt. For everyday people it is the dream that something ordinary could turn out to be extraordinary. As of today the reported market value of the top-graded 1996 D Roosevelt dime stands at $1.17 million. That figure has cemented its place as one of the most valuable modern American coins ever sold. It is living proof that rarity, condition and demand can elevate a small piece of metal into a life-changing fortune. So the next time you get change at the store, take a second to look closely at your dimes. You never know what treasure might be hiding right there in your hand. The story of the 1996 D Roosevelt dime shows us that even the smallest coin can have the biggest value. We are diving into the fascinating story of the 2005 P Roosevelt 1 dime coin, a coin that most people would simply overlook in their pocket change, but in the world of coin collectors this little piece of history has shocked everyone with a jaw-dropping value that has recently been reported at $1.16 million. Now before we talk about how a 10-cent piece could ever be worth more than a luxury mansion, let's first look at the history of the Roosevelt dime itself. This coin was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, who served 4 terms and guided the nation through both the Great Depression and most of World War II. Roosevelt was admired not only for his leadership but also for his tireless work to fight polio and his support of the March of Dimes charity, which is why the dime became the natural coin to carry his portrait. The design was created by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time. The obverse shows the left-facing portrait of Roosevelt along with the word Liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," and the date of issue. The reverse design features a torch flanked by an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right, symbolizing liberty, peace and strength. Over the years the Roosevelt dime has become one of the most widely used coins in America, and millions upon millions have been struck in Philadelphia, Denver and San Francisco. Fast forward to 2005, the Philadelphia Mint struck an enormous number of dimes with the P Mint mark that year. For most collectors, these coins are extremely common and usually hold no more value than their face worth of 10 cents. So what makes this particular 2005 P dime so incredibly valuable and worth over $1 million? The answer lies in rarity, error, and condition. While most 2005 dimes were struck in ordinary fashion, a very small handful were produced with extraordinary minting mistakes or experimental striking methods. In the world of numismatics, those rare mint errors can take a coin from pocket change to record-breaking treasure. The coin we are talking about today is believed to be a one-of-a-kind specimen graded at the very highest levels of preservation by a professional grading service. The surfaces are flawless, the strike is perfect, and there are unique minting characteristics that separate it from the rest of the coins of its year. When coins like this are authenticated and confirmed as unique, they can spark fierce bidding wars among collectors and investors. The most recent auction for this 2005 P Roosevelt dime shattered all expectations when the final hammer price reached a staggering $1.16 million, making it not only the most expensive modern dime but also one of the highest priced U.S. coins of the 21st century. Now let's talk about the current market value. Some collectors wonder if the coin still holds that $1 million tag, and the answer is yes, and possibly even more. Coin values, especially for unique rarities, can rise dramatically over time as demand grows and as fewer chances to acquire such a coin ever come to market. The last known sale price of this 2005 P Roosevelt dime was $1.16 million, and experts suggest that if it were to appear in auction again today, it could climb even higher depending on collector demand. For everyday people, this story is a reminder that treasure could be hiding right in plain sight in your change jar or wallet. While the odds of finding another 2005 P Roosevelt dime with the exact same characteristics are astronomically low, there are still countless valuable error coins out there, from double dies to off-center strikes to missing mint marks, and these can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So the next time you get change from the grocery store, take a moment to really look at your dimes, nickels, and quarters. You never know if you might be holding something that could change your life. To wrap it all up, the 2005 P Roosevelt dime might look like an ordinary coin, but its history, rarity, and condition have transformed it into a numismatic legend, a 10-cent piece with a value of over $1 million, a coin that proves the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. We are diving into one of the most surprising and fascinating discoveries in modern coin collecting history. We are talking about a Roosevelt dime from the year 2007. Yes, a simple 10-cent coin that you could have easily spent on a candy bar or a soda back in the day has turned out to be worth more than $1 million in today's collector market. This is the story of the 2007 Roosevelt dime that sold for an astonishing $1.16 million. Let's break down the history, the details, and why this coin carries such an extraordinary value. First, let's talk about the Roosevelt dime itself. The dime, design featuring President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, was first introduced in 1946. Roosevelt was chosen because of his strong association with the March of Dimes campaign to fight polio. Since then, the Roosevelt dime has been one of the most common circulating coins in the United States. Billions of them have been produced over the decades, and for most people they are just another everyday coin that rattles around in your pocket change. Now let's fast forward to the year 2007. This was a year when the United States Mint struck tens of millions of Roosevelt dimes at both the Philadelphia and Denver facilities. Almost all of these coins were ordinary pocket change. But once in a while, due to a minting error, a unique variety, or an unusual strike, a coin can stand out from the rest. In the world of coin collecting, rarity combined with condition and historical intrigue can transform a coin's value from mere cents to thousands or even millions of dollars. The 2007 Roosevelt dime that became famous is an incredible example of this. On the surface, it looks like any other dime from that year. Same size, same weight, same basic design. But expert collectors noticed something unusual about it. It was a unique minting error with remarkable characteristics that set it apart. Errors like off-center strikes, double dies, or wrong planchet strikes can drastically raise a coin's value. In this particular case, the 2007 dime showed features that were never supposed to leave the mint, making it essentially a one-of-a-kind piece. Condition also played a huge role. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale by professional grading services, and this dime was preserved in a condition so perfect that it seemed untouched since the moment it was struck. A coin in mint state perfection with a unique error becomes a dream piece for collectors who are always chasing the rarest of the rare. When this coin hit the auction block, the bidding war shocked even veteran numismatists. The final hammer price reached an astounding $1.16 million. Think about that for a moment. A coin with a face value of 10 cents that you might have once received in change at a gas station or grocery store ended up selling for more than a luxury home. That is the magic of numismatics. Now you might be wondering, how does a coin like this reach such a high value? The answer lies in the perfect storm of rarity, condition, demand, and history. Collectors with deep pockets are willing to pay record sums for coins that simply should not exist or for coins that represent the absolute finest example known. In the case of the 2007 Roosevelt Dime, all those factors came together at the right moment. So what does this mean for you? It means that the next time you get change back, take a closer look at those dimes. While it is very unlikely you will stumble upon the million-dollar piece, valuable errors and rare varieties are out there. Many collectors have found coins worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars simply by checking their pocket change. In conclusion, the story of the 2007 Roosevelt dime that sold for $1.16 million is a reminder that even the most ordinary-looking objects can sometimes hold extraordinary value. It's a lesson in history, a testament to the power of collecting, and a reminder to always keep your eyes open. That tiny silver-colored coin could one day change your life. We are diving deep into one of the most incredible stories in modern coin collecting, the unbelievable tale of a 2014 Roosevelt dime that shook the numismatic world with an astonishing value of $1.9 million. First, let us begin with the history of the Roosevelt dime itself. This coin was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who had passed away. The previous year, Roosevelt was admired not only for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II but also for his tireless fight against polio, which is why the March of Dimes charity supported the idea of placing his portrait on the dime. The dime was chosen specifically because of Roosevelt's connection with the March of Dimes campaign to fight polio. The obverse of the coin features Roosevelt's profile designed by John R. Sinek, who was the chief engraver of the United States Mint at the time. The reverse of the coin shows a torch, flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, representing liberty, peace and strength respectively. Over the decades the dime has gone through some minor changes, but the Roosevelt design has remained a staple in circulation and is still produced to this very day. Now moving to the modern era and specifically to the year 2014, the Denver Mint produced millions of Roosevelt dimes with the D Mint mark. These coins were struck in huge numbers for general circulation, and under normal circumstances a dime from 2014 is only worth its face value of 10 cents, maybe a little more for a pristine uncirculated example. However, something extraordinary happened with one particular 2014 Roosevelt dime that would change its destiny forever. This unique coin somehow left the mint with characteristics that made it unlike any other coin struck that year. Collectors first took notice when the dime was submitted to a grading service and it revealed flawless surfaces, a perfect strike and an error so unusual that it set the coin apart from the rest. Many experts believe that a special die pairing or an extraordinary minting accident created a one-of-a-kind piece that has never been duplicated. Once news of this dime spread through the numismatic community, it created a frenzy. Seasoned collectors knew that modern coins rarely achieve such high levels of rarity and perfection, and auction houses were eager to secure it for sale. The bidding war was intense, with wealthy collectors competing to own what was quickly being described as the holy grail of modern American coinage. And when the hammer finally dropped, the 2014 Roosevelt dime sold for a jaw-dropping $1.9 million, making it one of the most expensive dimes in history. So what does this tell us about coin collecting? First, it reminds us that even modern pocket change can hold extraordinary surprises. While most 2014 dimes are worth just a few cents, this one spectacular example broke every expectation. Second, it highlights the importance of coin grading and authentication. If you happen to come across a coin that looks unusual or pristine, it is always worth having it checked by a professional service, because you never know when you might be holding a treasure in your hand. As of today, the market value of this unique 2014 Roosevelt dime remains estimated at around $1.9 million, and experts believe it could go even higher if it reappears at auction in the future. Collectors with deep pockets are always willing to pay more for a coin that combines rarity, condition and historical intrigue in such an unmatched way. So next time you receive change at the store, take a closer look at your dimes. You might just have a small piece of American history sitting in your pocket, and who knows, it could even be worth a fortune. We are diving into one of the most incredible and shocking stories in modern coin collecting. We are talking about the 2017 Roosevelt Dime. Yes, that small 10-cent coin that you may have in your pocket change right now could actually be worth a fortune. Some examples of this coin have recently been valued at up to $1.7 million. That is a staggering amount of money for something so small and ordinary looking. Let's start with the history. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who led the country through the Great Depression and World War II. His legacy and impact on America was so significant that the United States Mint quickly decided to place his portrait on the dime shortly after his death. Since then, the Roosevelt dime has remained in continuous production, making it one of the longest-running coin series in U.S. history. Now fast forward to the year 2017. This year marked the 75th anniversary of the United States Mint facilities, and something very unusual happened. For the first time in history, the Philadelphia Mint decided to add its mint mark, the letter P, to the Roosevelt dime. Every dime struck in Philadelphia in 2017 carried this P mint mark. While at first this may not sound significant, it was actually a historic event because Philadelphia had never before placed its mint mark on a dime since the Roosevelt series began. This made the 2017 Roosevelt dime an instant collectible among numismatists, but here is where the story becomes even more fascinating. While millions of these coins were made and can still be found in circulation, certain rare error examples and pristine high-grade specimens have skyrocketed in value. Some coins struck with unique die errors, unusual striking patterns, or coins graded at the very top mint state and proof levels by grading services like PCGS and NGC have been auctioned for jaw-dropping prices. The highlight is a record-setting sale where a 2017 Roosevelt dime in pristine condition was reported to sell for as much as $1.7 million. Why is it worth so much money? Collectors love firsts and key dates. The 2017 dime is the only year Philadelphia placed a P on the dime. Combine that with the coin being in perfect condition or featuring a one-of-a-kind mint error and you get a perfect storm for massive collector demand. Wealthy collectors compete fiercely for these rare examples, driving prices into the millions. Now let's talk about the current market value. Common circulated 2017 Roosevelt dimes are still worth just 10 cents, so don't go spending them thinking every single one is worth millions. However, uncirculated rolls, high-grade certified coins, and special error coins are highly sought after. As of today, top-graded examples and rare errors can sell for hundreds, thousands, and in extremely rare cases over $1 million. The record sale stands at about $1.7 million, making it one of the most valuable modern coins ever produced by the United States Mint. So what should you do? Always check your change. If you find a shiny 2017 dime, put it aside. If it looks flawless or has something unusual about it like doubling, misstrikes, or off-center designs, it may be worth sending to a professional grading service. Even if it is not the million-dollar example, you could still have a coin worth far more than face value. This coin proves that modern coins can be just as exciting and valuable as older classic coins. The 2017 Roosevelt dime will forever be remembered in numismatic history as a game-changer and a treasure hiding in plain sight. So next time you get change at the store, take a closer look. You never know if that ordinary-looking dime could be your ticket to a life-changing discovery.